On this next page, what I want you to do is I just want you to put maybe 2 to 3 inch lines, multiple directions. Let's get 7 of them. Seven lines just randomly around your page. Yeah, only hatching this strip where the circles are not. Okay, once you get 7 lines over here, we're going to make truncated cones. And so these lines represent your minor axes. And so again, as a little bit of a review, your minor axis should bisect your ellipse. And if it's getting further away from you, or if it's going towards your vanishing point, an ellipse should get wider, just as we saw over here. So I'm going to assume this front part of this truncated cone is going to be a little bit closer to me. So I'm going to make that ellipse just a little bit thinner. Maybe that's about 20 and that may be about 25 degrees. And then I'm going to connect them. So I want you to vary the degrees of ellipses and just the shapes of these cones. I'm going to do a real fat one. And as I'm sketching these ellipses, I'm using that line, right? So as I sketch an ellipse in, I'm just going to kind of mess one up to begin with. That line tells me that ellipse is off, right? So I just need to adjust it. And I'm using that line to view the symmetry. I'm gonna make a double truncated cone all the way. It also gives me my angle, right? So it's easy to see when you get off. Let's see, let's do a real long, thin one. So in sketching these so far, I've drawn in, the full ellipse, and so I don't know whether or not I see this surface or I'm actually seeing this surface. On some of them, if I said, you know what, this ellipse is a little bit thinner than this ellipse, it means that I actually do see this surface. But what I want you to do to kind of complete this sketch is I do want you to take, I want you to hatch. And I want you to hatch with the cone. So start on the underside of each cone and then just start to, we're going to give it a little bit of value, start to where it's darker, those lines should be a little bit closer together. And now I do want you to darken in a little bit, put a little bit more pressure and slow your pen down and darken in the ellipses where they need to be. So this is a good example. So these are close together. As I come around, they're all kind of going towards the center. They're coming out at that same angle. I'm changing the angle as I roll around. and then they get further apart over here, and then maybe just a little bit closer together towards the end. So this is my highlight area. One thing to re-emphasize, if I'm working on ellipses and those ellipses run into a like a side surface, like on this cone, there should be no, I think we called them footballs. There should be no footballs. Like, this should be a nice smooth tangential transition into the side. So no points. And so just to kind of emphasize what I'm talking about there, I'm going to blow this up, this little edge. There's my ellipse. Here's that line coming into that ellipse. So right here, where that line meets that ellipse, it should be smooth. No point. And then you will have it continue to roll around. So let's see. So right here, I got to make sure I darken that in, and I got a point. Let's avoid that point. Let's see, what side of this do I want to see? You getting used to the pins? A little bit? One of the other reasons why, and it'll be more apparent in the coming weeks, one of the other reasons why I really like the ballpoint pen is I want to encourage you to not worry too much about mistakes, because I can use the ability to change the value of my ballpoint pen. I can use that to provide emphasis and ultimately somewhat hide a lot of those mistakes. As I complete my drawing, as I slow the pen down, so as I was saying, with your exploratory sketching, you know what? I've got a couple of little spaces right here where I could add, I want to fill this page. So I'm just going to add 2 more small little cones. And this is number 5. This little detail right here will be a little bit more important as we get into this next exercise, which is something that you guys did this summer, or similar.